What does it mean to truly accept ourselves, flaws and all, not as a resignation, but as a graceful path to freedom? Welcome back. My name is Reese, and this is Mental Medicine. Today we're diving into the sacred terrain of grace and acceptance, not as concepts, but as lived experiences that can heal, liberate, and guide us back to our true nature. I sat staring at a blank page thinking about what to write for this video. Writing a sentence out, then deleting it, and then I realized I was living the very message I was trying to write. Because isn't that how self-acceptance works? It reveals itself when we finally stop resisting who we are, or what we want to write. As I define who I am, I also define who I am not. Human identity sits on a pole of perspective that shifts due to the rhythms of life. When I was entrapped by the narratives of addiction, heartbreak, feeling like a loser, and anger, how I defined myself was based out of a self-destructive perspective held within. Learning to meditate gave me the opportunity to pause these deceptive thoughts of self. Through the pause, I gained insight into how these narratives formed a truth through the perspective of my mind. By accepting this was a truth of self I held, and with allowance of grace to search for the opposite inside of myself, I was given the opportunity to accept a higher truth. As I was attached to negatively comparing myself to external metrics, I created negative narratives about myself. These negative narratives became who I believed I was, causing me to have negative behavior towards myself. By allowing myself to accept who I was being and creating a loving, graceful place within myself, I began to see how who I was being was true because of my attachment to my negative narratives about myself. In the witnessing of my attachment to who I believed I was, I opened the door to accept that's who I was being, not who I am. Having grace for myself brought me into the understanding that who I am is an embodiment of love, being filtered through the lens of perspective that is my life and beliefs. By accepting that I am love, I began an internal alchemical process of embodying that truth rather than old negative attachments that I priorly believed I was. I used to fear missing out and grabbing drinks because of a need to externally validate love for myself. Now I see meditation and prayer as ways to feel my relationship with love. I felt lost looking for my path. Now I accept I've always been walking my path. The path might have parts that are up and parts that dip down, but nevertheless, it is my path. I didn't passively accept who I was. I actively committed to holding grace for who I've been and accepted that I can be different. Have presence with your essence. Accept the internal now. You cannot change the past and you might not have a future. Staying present allows you to communicate with all timelines, liberating you from your past experiences and empowering you to create the future you dream about. Accepting how life is unfolding itself to you as a gift to reveal your true nature to yourself and the power you hold inside is a way to shield your mind from creating narratives that seek to tell a story of delusion. Insanity is the art of looking at what is not real as factual evidence of truth. Sanity is the art of truly seeing what is and what is not. Enlightenment is accepting the insanity in oneself and alchemizing it to sanity to serve the world. This is a fluid practice that continues along the river of life. Grace opens the door to accepting the path towards enlightenment. One cannot accept themselves fully till they create a graceful space for themselves to grow. In this existence, acceptance plays a vital role in understanding the true nature of reality and finding harmony within oneself and the world around us. Acceptance involves recognizing and embracing the ever-changing nature of reality. We must remember that this life is a continuous flow, where everything is interconnected and in a state of constant transformation. By accepting this impermanence of life, we can let go of our attachment to fixed outcomes and ideas, allowing us to fully engage with the present moment. Alan Watts, a renowned philosopher and writer, explored Eastern philosophies such as Zen Buddhism and Taoism, and he emphasized the importance of acceptance as a fundamental principle for living a fulfilling life. He believed that much of our suffering and discontentment arises from our resistance to what is. We often resist change, cling to our desires and expectations, and struggle against the natural ebb and flow of life. However, he encouraged a shift in perspective, a shift from resistance to acceptance. By accepting the impermanence of life, we can find a sense of peace and freedom. Acceptance is not passive resignation or indifference. It's an active engagement with life, rooted in a deep understanding of its inherent flux. It involves acknowledging the reality of the present moment without judgment or resistance, allowing oneself to be fully present and engaged. Acceptance requires an all encompassing lens on reality. Part of this lens is oneself. One must remember the importance of self acceptance. The eternal power one possesses when accepting ourselves fully, with all our strengths and flaws, is the key to personal growth and inner peace. Instead of constantly striving to meet external expectations or chasing after an idealized self created by narratives we patterned ourselves to believe to fit into what society deems as successful, in this moment we have the opportunity to embrace our authentic selves and find contentment in our unique qualities. The power of self acceptance lies in its ability to transform our relationship with ourselves and the world around us. Self acceptance could be used as a gateway to living a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Self acceptance is the key to unlocking what is internally true, a practice that will last your lifetime and is multifaceted in meaning. For what self acceptance consists of, I humbly bow to the teachings of Alan Watts, as he breaks down the key foundations that acceptance is built upon. Liberation from the ego. Our constructed sense of self often creates a constant state of inner conflict and dissatisfaction. By practicing self acceptance, we can liberate ourselves from the constraints of the ego, which is constantly seeking validation, comparison, and approval. When we accept ourselves as we are, without judgment or attachment to external standards, we can experience a profound sense of freedom and inner peace. Embracing impermanence. Watts emphasized that everything in life is impermanent, including ourselves. By accepting the transient nature of existence, we can let go of the need to control or cling to fixed identities or outcomes. Self acceptance enables us to flow with the ever changing rhythms of life and embrace the beauty of impermanence. This recognition allows us to find a deeper sense of contentment and resilience in the face of life's ups and downs. Authenticity and inner harmony. Self acceptance invites us to embrace our true selves, free from the mask and roles we often adopt to fit societal expectations. When we accept ourselves fully, we align with our authentic desires, passions, and values. This alignment fosters a sense of inner harmony where our thoughts, emotions, and actions are in congruence. It empowers us to live a life that is true to ourselves, leading to greater satisfaction and a sense of purpose. Compassionate connection. Self acceptance also paves the way for a compassionate connection with others. When we accept and love ourselves unconditionally, we extend the same acceptance and love to others. This shift in perspective allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, fostering understanding, empathy, and harmonious relationships. Creative expression, and the belief that self acceptance unleashes our creative potential. When we accept ourselves, we are more open to exploring our passions and talents without the fear of judgment or failure. Self acceptance provides the fertile ground for self expression, innovation, and the discovery of our unique gifts. accepting your inner artist, painting the masterpiece on the canvas that is your life. The power of self acceptance lies in its ability to liberate us from the ego, embrace impermanence, foster authenticity and inner harmony, cultivate compassionate connection, and unleash our creative expression. By practicing self acceptance, we can experience profound transformation in how we relate to ourselves and the world, leading to a more fulfilling and vibrant existence. To fully hold true acceptance, we must extend ourselves beyond the individual level, and by encompassing the acceptance of others in the world as well, we can create a compassionate and inclusive perspective that recognizes the interconnectedness of all beings. By accepting others as they are without judgment or prejudice, we can foster harmonious relationships and cultivate a sense of unity and understanding. In essence, acceptance is a transformative practice of presence, one that invites us to surrender to the ever changing nature of life, embrace our authentic selves, and cultivate compassion for others. Through acceptance, we can find freedom from suffering and discover a profound sense of peace and harmony in our existence. Grace is the inherent beauty and harmony that underlies all existence. It is the natural state of being that permeates the universe. Independent of personal effort or striving, grace cannot be earned or achieved through willpower alone. Instead, it is a spontaneous and unmerited gift of life itself. The key to understanding grace is to remember that grace arises from a deep understanding and acceptance of the interconnectedness of all things. When we realize that we are not separate individuals isolated from the world, but interconnected threads in the fabric of existence, we begin to experience the grace that flows through us and everything around us. Another teaching from Alan Watts is how grace is closely related to the concept of Wu Wei from Taoism, which can be translated as effortless action. It refers to a state of being in which we align ourselves with the natural flow of life without force or resistance. By surrendering to this flow, we tap into a state of grace where everything seems to fall into an effortless place. Grace is not something we can possess or control, but rather a realization that arises when we let go of our ego driven desires and surrender to the unfolding of the present moment. It is a state of surrendering to life's mysteries and accepting its inherent wisdom. In this surrender, we find a deep sense of peace, contentment, and trust in the natural order of things. Grace is not limited to moments of tranquility or joy. It encompasses the full spectrum of human experience, including the challenges and difficulties we encounter. With this understanding, individuals are empowered to embrace the ups and downs of life with an open heart, recognizing that even amidst the chaos and suffering, grace can be found. It is through acceptance and surrender that we can discover the grace that exists within the depths of our being. Grace is not something exclusive to certain individuals or reserved for special circumstances. It is available to all, regardless of one's background, beliefs, or past actions. It is a universal quality that transcends the individual differences and is accessible to anyone who is willing to open themselves to it. Grace is the inherent beauty, harmony, and interconnectedness that underlies all of existence. It is a state of surrender and acceptance where we align ourselves with the natural flow of life. By letting go of our ego driven desires and embracing the present moment, we can experience the profound grace that exists within and around us. It is the intricate tapestry of existence. Two fundamental aspects color our human experience: grace and acceptance. These qualities, intertwined and inseparable, hold the key to navigating the ever changing rhythm of life. Both acceptance and grace are our tools guiding us on our journey towards deeper understanding and harmony. allowing the soul to find itself. Grace is the elegant and effortless flow of life. It is the spontaneous expression of our inherent interconnectedness with the world around us. When we surrender to the unfolding of existence, we discover a profound sense of grace in each moment. Just as a river effortlessly flows its course, so too can we allow life's currents to guide us. Grace is not something to be achieved or attained, but rather a quality that emerges when we let go of our attachment to control. By relinquishing our constant striving and embracing the present moment, we become vessels through which grace can manifest. Acceptance, on the other hand, is the art of embracing life in its entirety, the light and the dark, the joy and the sorrow. It is the understanding that every aspect of existence has its place and purpose, contributing to the ever unfolding dance of creation. Only when we see acceptance not as a resignation or passivity, but as an active engagement with the world as it is, do we open the door for acceptance to allow us to meet each experience with an open heart and a curious mind, free from judgment or resistance. In the face of life's challenges and uncertainties, acceptance grants us the serenity to find peace amidst the storm. And it allows us to say, I am not my past, but I will hold it in grace. I'm not perfect, but I am whole. When grace and acceptance intertwine, they create a harmonious symphony within our being. Through grace, we embrace the dynamic flow of existence, allowing life to move through us effortlessly. Through acceptance, we embrace the full spectrum of human experience, finding meaning and purpose in every twist and turn. When we remind ourselves that grace and acceptance are not distant destinations to be reached, but rather qualities of the individual that are always ready to be called upon eternally, they are the gentle reminders to dance with life rather than against it, to surrender to the rhythm of the universe. In our quest for grace and acceptance, we may stumble and falter. We may find ourselves entangled in the web of expectations, fears, and desires. Yet, when we assure ourselves that this is all part of the grand journey of self discovery, by recognizing the illusion of separateness, we can embrace the interconnectedness of all things and awaken to the ever present grace that pervades our existence. By surrendering to the ebb and flow of life, we can find solace and acceptance and discover the profound wisdom that lies within each moment. So let us dance with grace and acceptance, embracing the symphony of life with open hearts and open minds. Let us release our grip on the illusion of control and surrender to the beauty of what is. In the words of Alan Watts, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. If this message touched something in you, take a moment today and hold yourself in grace. And if you're walking your path of healing, self-discovery, and presence, I invite you to subscribe. This is Mental Medicine. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being here. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, stay you. Thank you so much.